Wasim Akram bowling the first ball after lunch. No great amount of energy put into that first delivery, but he has a history of groin strains. It looks to me as though he's moving in slightly gingerly fashion there. We'll just have to wait and see how he goes when he's loosened up. Something that applies to our two commentators about to start, Rodney Marsh and Max Walker.
Thank you, Rich. Good afternoon to everyone. Jeffrey Marsh getting through for a single there. Tossif almost having a ping at the stumps, but realised there was no one backing up and decided to hang on to it. Good afternoon, Max.
Good afternoon, Rodney, and certainly that was military medium. He's a very fast bowler, Wasim Akram. He shortened his run from last year. He's still problems with that groin, and it's very apparent now that it's gummed up over lunch, so to speak. Hasn't quite done the limbering up, the warm-up exercises to stretch that area up. There is a lot of strain in the delivery stride, the front foot way in front of the other, and it's really a bit like pulling the wishbone apart at a Christmas luncheon once you've devoured the chicken. And I'd say that a few things on his mind and just losing his balance and rhythm. This will be a big setback if it is a continuing problem throughout this test match. Well, sticky fingers as well.
Yeah. Another short single and a direct hit on that occasion.
It's very evident that he's not really powering through in that delivery stride, and he looked to be in a little trouble too, in two minds whether to lunge ahead and field off his own bowling or not. As someone who's had a couple of nasty groin injuries, and well, one thing, but the cortisone injections to try and rectify the remedy in a very sensitive area between the legs there, it's pretty nasty stuff.
That's misfielded. It brings up the Australian 50.
So the 50 partnership there. Good steady opening stand by the Australians.
It looked a bit looser that time, the bouncer, and in fact stretched out a little bit more.
That resulted in the no ball because just that little bit of extra stretch in each step was enough to get him over the mark. And he, of course, infringed. The umpire had no hesitation. Fairly early call too there from umpire Peter McConnell. So Marsh has been very watchful. 12 not out. His partner Taylor at the other end is on 31 not out. They came together during the England series.
That's one safely through to the wicketkeeper, Youssef. Australia, none for 52.
What do you do?
53 at the MCG. The Australian flag on the left and the Pakistan flag on the right, fluttering quite nicely in the breeze here. Not a lot of breeze out in the middle. Shoaib doing the fielding in gully. Imran Khan, the skipper, didn't come out for the first 2 overs after lunch. He's back out there now. I suggest that he was most likely having his hamstring stretched. Beautiful delivery.
Imran very interested in the performance of his bowlers in this next hour or so. He's also got some tape on his hand, on the right hand, the bowling hand. And that's a nasty place to have a piece of tape on that second finger of the right hand. That's the last point of contact of the ball when it leaves the hand on its journey down the wicket. It imparts the backspin. So it'll be interesting whether or not the umpire is talk to him when he does come to the crease. I would think that he's not allowed to keep that tape on when he bowls, but that's in the future. He's got more on his mind at the moment. Tactically, he desperately needs a breakthrough. Any semblance of a chance, Pakistan needs some inspiration. A desperate catch would be fantastic. Just what they need.
He's a very fine bowler, this man. Always thinking. On that occasion, he went much wider on the crease to Mark Taylor. And that's a sign of a thinking bowler that just doesn't come in and do the same thing all the time. Notice he goes way out wide. And that just alters the angle to the batsman. Well, a pull shot, but not quite in the middle of the bat. Ijaz, the man doing the fielding, and he's pretty quick onto the ball, Ijaz, and a good return. At the end of the over, then Australia no wicket for 56. No wicket for 62. Mark Taylor now on 40, and Jeffrey Marsh, the man on strike, on 13.
Imran won the toss. Took a little while before he decided to actually make the decision. Had a chat with team manager Intikhab Alam. Then came back and made it clear to Ian Chappell and everyone watching that yes, in fact, he would field. There'll be a few thoughts exercising his mind at the moment. Whether he did the right thing would have been one of them. Really, the decision has been made. It's up to him and his team to make the most of that opportunity.
Ijaz at bat pad. Very fine fields and very quick on his feet, quick hands. And looks to me as though he really enjoys his cricket. Beautifully bowled once again.
That was a good delivery. Consistently getting in close to the stumps, bringing the ball back to the right-hander. On that occasion, a little more open in the delivery, and the natural away cut from the left-hander. It's a good combination, and at his pace, it can be quite an awkward proposition.
Square drive from Jeff Marsh, and it won't go all the way. Shoaib hot in pursuit, and he hasn't got a very good arm, Shoaib. But very nice work from Tosif there, going into a position as the cut-off man.
Yes, it's been very evident during the one-day internationals that Shoaib definitely hasn't got a very strong arm. In fact, the Australian batsmen, had they done their homework, may have been able to just pick up the extra run there. Although Taylor did have a bit of a scare early in the first session. A line ball decision.
None for 65. Mark Taylor on 40, Jeff Marsh on 16. Another good start, none for 65. Just a little shake of the right arm. Very nasty blow he took, and I wonder what happened in the luncheon of German. That's a wide ball down leg side, and a very good take by Yusuf.
Well, perhaps the theory was right to ping the short one in. Use it sparsely, but that one really not effective at all. Putting the keeper under a lot of pressure. Just a quick word from Imran there.
Akib Javed doing the fielding at fine leg. Leg by, signal by umpire Pete McConnell. Interesting that they should bring 2 Western Australians over to Melbourne to umpire.
Yes, I guess it is interesting, but particularly Peter McConnell, a very experienced umpire, has stood in a lot of test matches and does differ from ground to ground. That extra bounce, even the light a little different across in the west. And here at the MCG, traditionally the ball kept a little lower. Different backgrounds too, and this huge concrete stadium here at the MCG. Rick Evans is his teammate, and I say that because really umpiring is very much an understanding between one another, particularly if there's something that's a little grey area. Ask the advice of the square leg umpire, whether it carried, unsighted a bit by the players, and really body language. It's not an easy task to stand in a test match as an umpire. A very responsible position. Demands a lot of mental toughness. A bit of gamesmanship from the players at time to time. Try to... Oh, that one's slipped a little. Try to work out the umpires. They're in control. That's the end of the over. Australia none for 66.
None for 72. As Wasim Akram continues. Well, he's got that one away for 4, but it was far too close to cut. In the end, finished up being an unbelievable shot.
It shouldn't have got through the slips cordon either. And that was close to the body. The finisher was a good effort by Marsh to keep it on the ground. Just open the blade up, but really the slips are standing fairly tightly there. A slow reaction, even though it looked wider than the right hand.
Well, we have a National Mutual Sports update for you. The Prudential National Country Cricket Championships. New South Wales versus South Australia. South Australia 150. Mark Curry taken 4 for 15. Western Australia versus the ACT. Western Australia 144. Ken Bone 3 for 6. I wonder what sort of an artist he'd make. And Queensland versus Victoria. Victoria 4 for 248. Jeff Phillips 90 and Graham Beaumont 76. And they are one-day fixtures, 55 overs. Just got that one away for a single. So a rush of runs in the first half hour after lunch. They went to lunch at none for 47. So it's almost a run a minute since lunch.
Look at that bat. A lot of red cherries, as the kids would say. Very much around the middle of that piece of willow.
Got a big middle, Tang.
It's got a big middle. Some big scores to reinforce that statement.
He's a fine bowler, this man. The end of another over from Akram. Australia none for 77.
Sidgrove's 30-piece.
45 to Mark Taylor, 22 to Jeffrey Marsh. Australia none for 78. Very short backlift, Jeff Marsh. He looks to me like he's having a bit of a problem occasionally picking up the attempted Yorker from Akram. He's had a couple of those deliveries now, and Marsh just appears as though he's not quite seeing them as well as he would like. Not that much desperation about the Pakistan effort. Really been a bit, the game has just sort of kept rolling along. There's been no urgency about it. Some of the fielding has been quite sloppy.
Yes, the Lion of Lahore is looking a little restless out there at the moment. He needs to be fed. And feeding the Lion of Lahore right now would mean getting him a wicket. Shoaib, he's in the gully. Javed in the slip cordon. Be pretty conscious of the fact that Mark Taylor is still out there as a result of his little slip up at second slip where he dropped one.
He's got the ability to move one back quite sharply every now and again. That was a good example of it.
Yes, certainly had Marsh in a fair bit of trouble with the ball that swung back. Initially, Marsh is looking a little better now. He's got one ball to go and he's going to bowl it from the other side of the stumps. He's decided to extenuate that angle that Ian Chappell was talking about, see if he can really get it to whip back from way outside the off stump. The screen just moving into position now. So it's going to be left arm round the wicket to the right-hander. And if possible, I should think that Marsh should be looking to get that front pad forward. Himself outside the line.
Australia none for 78.
Now if you compress.
Jeffrey Marsh on 28, Mark Taylor on 48. Gutsy performance from Mark Taylor, the left-handed opening bat. It's the sort of thing that a captain expects from his opening batsman. It's one of those tough jobs where you've got to stay out there even when you receive a knock like Mark Taylor received. And also the other thing you expect from opening batsmen when it's a bit overcast and the ball's moving around a little, you expect that the opening batsman will try and battle their way through the session, and that's exactly what Marsh and Taylor did. And that was exactly what Australia got out of their left-handed opener in the 60s and early 70s. That man was Bill Lawry, and here he is talking about the two present openers.
Yeah, thanks, Leon. It's been a wonderful partnership. It's been a partnership of courage and application rather than great stroke play, particularly from Geoffrey Marsh, who only scored 9 in the pre-1 session. It's hard work. Nobody's really loving you at that stage, but he's done a wonderful job for his side. He's a great vice-captain. He does back up Alan Border to the hilt. On the other hand, we see his partner, who's a wonderful player, on 48, showing that you can't afford to give him a life. So for Pakistan, it's all hard work now, because the Australian batsmen have done the hard work. They will go on, and now this is a time when the middle order batsmen all come to the front of the dressing room saying, gee, the sun's out, it's looking really good. We're in the first session, just hoping and praying that Marsh and Taylor would do the job they've already done. So with conditions almost perfect now at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, Imran Khan winning the toss, putting the opposition to the bat, dropping 2 catches, it's Australia all the way, and that 450 is looking very pleasant indeed for Australia. Wasim Akram again. Taylor beaten, and what a good performance by Wasim Akram. He's been by far the best of the bowlers. He's got a beautiful action. He bowls close to the stumps, jumps out wide occasionally, gets the ball to move off the seam, and he's troubled both batsmen. I'm sure he'd trouble any batsman in the world in this sort of form. But full credit to Marsh and Taylor. They laid the foundation for a great start to the series for Australia. Despite all the ballyhoo in the paper, Pakistan are a very good test side, and the Australians have fought hard in the first session and a bit and are in the box seat. Back to you, Ian.
Thanks, Bill. Yes, it's been a good performance. And despite all the rubbish you throw at William Morris Lawry, Anthony, he was a very fine opener, a lot of courage, and the sort of thing we used to get from Bill Lawry in the 60s and 70s. I remember, I think it was at Kingsmead, old Kingsmead at Durban. He got one on the noggin, and they bandaged him up. He had this bandage around his head, but he kept on going. He was a very gutsy opener.
There's no doubt about that. Young schoolboy when just curving in a little bit. When he was out there on the 2 tours that he did of South Africa, and one always noticed that when he was out, the opposition were very happy to see the back of him. So that's the end of the over. The score now, no wicket for 87.
Throughout Australia, a lot of cars tend to...
Jeff Marsh has moved slowly along to 30. Mark Taylor on 48. It's been a real battle for the Australians. And the Pakistanis haven't helped with their over rate. That's been horribly slow. Like a full toss. Attempted Yorker, I think.
It's not often that you see this man that far off line or length. It was a real big full toss. So there are his figures, 15.2 overs, no wicket for 28. He's hit Marsh on the head. He's had Taylor dropped at second slip. He's beaten the bat on numerous occasions. In fact, it was Wakar that hit Marsh on the head, but he certainly has bowled very well. So another single there to Mark Taylor. That takes him to 49 now. Been out there for a while. I suspect that as the day goes on now, he'll start loosening up a little bit, and he will be scoring a lot more freely. He's also been hindered by multiple injuries sustained on his left. In fact, it's his right elbow. You can see the protection there.
Interesting. There's an appeal there from Salim Yusuf, but that's not unusual. It's interesting, he changes his action when he comes around the wicket, Wasim Akram.
Just a little mix-up here, and couldn't have been that far away because this was good fielding. Just got himself home.
Yes, he brings his right hand up to meet the left just before he delivers the ball when he's round the wicket. And a shout there, and he's given. Well taken by Salim Yusuf, and that's a good reward for some excellent bowling. So the move of coming around the wicket to the right-hander has worked for Wasim Akram.
They desperately needed that wicket. Marsh getting a thick edge on this one, the ball angling in a long way, and then just holding up a little bit. A magnificent delivery, really. It's hard to get them to move when you bowl at that sort of angle. It hit the outside edge, nicely taken. And Marsh is out. He really has struggled through this innings and is now out for 30. So Drinks are on their way out onto the ground now, and Australia have lost their first wicket with the score on 90.
First breakthrough. 1 for 90, 41.5 overs. Good afternoon, Bill.
Good afternoon, Richard. Good afternoon, everybody. And Jeff Marsh will be bitterly disappointed. He did all the hard work, only scored 9 in the first session, was just starting to play a shot or two when this man Wasim Akram got the ball to move away coming around the wicket. He's a beautiful bowler with a lovely strong action, intelligent thinker, great variation, and he's deserved that wicket. He's bowled beautifully. He's attacked the batsman all the time. And that's a vital wicket for Pakistan, because when you're in the opposition in the bat, you don't want a big double century stand with the openers. So now they've got a new batsman in. It's a new ball game for them as David Boone takes guard. It's getting very warm here in Melbourne. Bright sunny afternoon. It's going to be hard work for the bowlers.
And still around the wicket, Wasim Akram. Gave the Australians some hurry up in Perth in a match, a limited overs game played against them there, swinging the ball back in and then cutting it further from outside the off stump. A short run, but a tremendously quick arm action. Out. And the reason for that is that he was coming around the wicket, slanting in to David Boone. And that is absolutely fatal, just to shove your pads at the ball these days, the way the LBW law is.
Yes, the law says you must play a shot and strike your outside on. He's around the wicket, and that's going to certainly hit middle and off. And Wasim Akram's on a hat-trick at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, and all of a sudden it's 2 for 90. And the 16 or 17,000 people here now on the edge of their seats. Boone out for a duck, first ball. Two for 90.
Australian captain Alan Border is the newcomer to the crease. He won't have strike because Wasim Akram has taken 2 wickets in successive deliveries. It was the end of his over. Now it's going to be Aqib Javed. 2 left-handers in. Mark Taylor is taking strike. And a sensational turn of events here at the MCG. Taylor 1 away from a half-century, and Wasim Akram on a hat-trick next over.
Well, Wasim Akram is a fine strike bowler. His first wicket's against Australia. And have a look at this for a plum LBW when you don't offer a shot. He's around the wicket. There's the angle. It pitches outside the line. It cuts back sharply. Boone is gone. He knows it. He has a quick look at the umpire, McConnell, who has a think, and then it's out for a duck, first ball. 2 for 90.
Don't think umpires would have any complaint if they're all that easy. It's absolutely plumb.
Meantime, Mark Taylor's on 49. They've worked very hard, the Australian batsmen Marsh and Taylor, for the start of 90.
It's 2 for 92, 43 overs gone. This is the hat-trick ball. And Wasim Akram will have to come back over the wicket now for the 2 left-handers.
He's probably very happy that Alan Border got that single through the misfield, because he's bowling to the new batsman on a hat-trick rather than Mark Taylor, who's set. And for Alan Border, there's going to be 4 slips and a gully in a short leg. It could be a wonderful moment for Wasim Akram in the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Well, you won't be any closer to a hat-trick than that in your life, my boy.
What more can you do? He's beaten the outside edge all day. He's got Alan Border playing and missing, went straight through to the keeper, played inside it, in fact, trying to find the outside edge. Wasim Akram misses out on a hat-trick.
That was beautifully bowled. See the seam of the ball staying upright all the way down the pitch there.
Beautifully bowled. The line was almost perfect. Probably a coat of varnish on that bat. Alan Border may have been a fraction late. New batsman at the crease, making him play just on the line of the off stump or just outside.
There's a bit more pace in Wasim Akram's bowling now. Got the wickets of Marsh and then Boone, and David Boone, Bill, has had rather a mixed summer. That's what's happened to him.
It's a great start, the double century, and then 3 ducks. Still a super player. Often happens when there's a partnership, the next batsman comes in, goes cheaply. But certainly by his standards, after the 200, a mediocre season so far. That's the pressure of Test cricket. He would have been sitting there in the dressing room watching the ball move in pre-1 session, the batsman playing and missing. Would have gone to lunch, probably not eaten a lot, David Boone. And just after lunch, when the Australians were starting to get the ball to flow, Marsh hit a glorious cover drive. He would be feeling, I wish I could get out there. And you do when you face one delivery. LBW for a duck. Plum. It's a marvellous game.
Suddenly the ball started to swing a bit again. We're getting up towards 50 overs now, but they've kept one side of it shiny, which is the secret of swinging. Certainly at least 2 in this over have moved away from the left-handers.
The outfield's very good and the centre's not rough. It's well grassed, the centre, and this ball will last. Ideal conditions for bowling.
Two for 92. 51 to Mark Taylor, 3 to Alan Border. 2 for 95. Wasim Akram from the southern end. He's bowling so well, the skipper can still have 4 slips and a gully.
He's hardly bowled a bad ball and he's attacking all the time. He's got great variation. Going to 2 batsmen in form. The standard's gone up an inch in this guy's bowling. He's got a beautiful action. Talk about long runs. He's off about 15 paces, much the same as Alan Davison. He's beautifully forward in his approach. He's got a quick arm action. Gets to the crease. Not a big jump. Very quick arm action. And great variation. In fact, he swings the ball away from the left-handers. From that angle, normally the ball from the right arm bowler is hitting leg stump and going towards the slip. But with Wasim Akram, it pitches on middle and off and then swings away, and that's been the trouble for Mark Taylor today. It's probably the first time he's faced a bowler of this class who can swing it so late at this pace. It's a great test for Mark Taylor, and he's doing a magnificent job.
We were talking a little earlier about Alan Border and the fact that this is his 49th Test match as captain for the Australian team. He's gone past Greg Chappell, who's on 48. He's played 50. Made 50 against New Zealand in the first match, first Test this summer. .56 against Sri Lanka, and then 24 and 85 down in Tassie, and he's 3 not out here today.
He's due to make 100. What a starts there. Double figures. Alan Border's handled the strain of all those test matches as captain with a lot of dignity as well. It's been tough early on. There was a lot of losses for the Australian team. People were calling for his scalp. He didn't seem to enjoy the captaincy, but of late he seems to be in complete control of on and off the ground situations. To be enjoying his cricket at this stage. Wasim Akram going around the wicket. That's a good ploy, particularly to Mark Taylor, who's set. Just changed the line. He'll go a lot wider than the right arm bowler would. He'll go pretty wide of the crease and angled towards slip. It's 2 for 97.
I spy with my...
Pizza Hut are offering a...
Back at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, 4 for 101 Australia. 5 to Border, 3 to War. Ducks for Boone and Jones. 30 to Marsh, 52 to Taylor. Wasim Akram for the right-hander will come over the wicket. He's setting 3 slips and a gully. Has short leg and a leg gully. And some significance in that first ball. Imran bowled Steve Ward, trying to cramp him for room just outside the off stump. Here's Wasim Akram. Two more to Steve Waugh, and here's Max Walker.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Richie. Well, certainly you can sense a great atmosphere down here on the fence. Certainly out on the ground, the Pakistanis have got more spring in their step. Mind you, 4 for 8. Why shouldn't you be? But I suppose it really proves that captains and bowlers really need patience. Persistence has played off here at the MCG. Looking for inspiration. Akram now on his way. Extra pace there, and what a talented young bowler this fella is. Off a short run, he really does generate enormous pace, and you get the idea that he does think a lot about what he's bowling. To go around the wicket and to pick up Boone LBW, that was a magnificent piece of bowling. Boone, of course, it perhaps looked a little easy from the dressing room, but it's not the case. Once you walk out there, it just takes on a whole different dimension, and now we see exactly what I was talking about. Akram is going to go around the wicket and change the angle. Of course, War, there'll be a little quickening of the pace, the way that he actually plays his shot. He got off the mark with a nice one, and of course it's no picnic out there. That extra pace around about throat high over the top of the head's not easy. We talk about inspiration, exactly what Pakistan needed. It took until the 42nd over until they could in fact take a wicket. The good work was done by the two openers, a nice opening stand of 90, and they really should have gone on with it. But of course, it only takes one delivery to take a wicket, and then of course, they followed in quick succession like a stack of cards. We'll watch this delivery. And just a change of line. Not easy to change your angle and go right around the wicket. You get out wide. The tendency is to want to push it down the leg side, as we saw there. But I think the one thing that has been very impressive here, maybe Imran Khan had a bit of a chat during the luncheon break and thought about what they did. Well, mind you, Australia scored another 40 runs after lunch and going along nicely. And now it's Imran, the experienced player, that has helped to take the wicket. So 2 apiece. They're 2 experienced bowlers, and Wasim Akram carrying a little bit of a groin. Let's hope that the enthusiasm of the younger Pakistan bowlers, in fact, if they can get it together, if Waqar, who looks to be a pretty pacey proposition, if he can bowl well now after this 4 wickets have fallen and Aqib can come in and he just keeps on improving, I think that Pakistan have really done a terrific job in this second session. Well, that's a good shot. He's pushed that one away off the back foot, over pitch. That's straight out of the Stephen Waugh scrapbook. And on that note, a beautiful boundary at the end of the over. Back to you, Richie.
4 for 107 after that lovely stroke from Stephen Waugh. Back at the MCG in just a moment.
Pizza.